In rounding off our prayer series, okay, we are today going to be looking at the 5 key benefits of effective and adequate prayer. When you pray effectively and adequately, there are results you always get, and that's what we are going to be looking at today. The first thing that you're going to be, we have 5 of them, 5 benefits, okay? Number 1 is effective and adequate prayer gets you closer, deeper, and more into God. If you want to build a stronger, beautiful, better, enjoyable relationship with God, then you must learn to pray effectively and adequately. That is why the Bible encourages us to pray always. Pray always. Because when you pray always, you learn to pray better and you build a stronger, sweeter relationship with God. There are laws that anybody can gain from God, okay? What makes anybody closer to God is how effectively and adequately they pray. Okay, so when you pray adequately and effectively, you get very closer to God. That's 1. Number 2, when you pray effectively and adequately, you begin to get revelations. God will begin to show you things that normal people won't see or won't know. Okay, your eyes will open and your eyes will begin to see beyond what the normal eyes can see. Your ears will be opened and you begin to hear beyond the normal things that normal ears can hear. Your heart begins to understand what the normal heart won't be able to understand. Okay, so you begin to get revelations. People who run to one prophet to the other and go to people who foretell the future, the soothsayers, and people who read cards for them, tarot card readers. Okay, they do this because they do not know that they can actually get revelations by themselves when they begin to pray effectively and adequately. They do not know that when you pray effectively and adequately, you begin to get the revelations that you run to others for. Okay, your pastor is not better than you in that regard, because God can actually give you the revelation that he also gave your pastor or may not have given to your pastor. Okay, so nobody is higher than anybody except for those who pray effectively and adequately. So when you pray effectively and adequately, yes, you begin to get revelations, spiritual revelations and spiritual insights. Okay, that's what one of the benefits you get from effective and adequate prayer. That's number 2 now, and we are going into number 3. Effective and adequate prayer helps you get regenerated. That is to say, you get revived and you get refreshed. People who pray effectively and adequately build resilience. Jesus told us about 2 houses that were built, one on a rock and the other on sand. When the storms of life came, the one on the rock stood firm. And when the one built on sand, when storm came, the one built on sand fell down, collapsed. Okay, so that's what happens to those who pray effectively and adequately. They never collapse. They never collapse. You see them every time they are shining. They're looking like they don't have problems because they have learned how to cast their cares on the Lord. They don't carry their problems on top of their head. They hand it over to God. And so whenever you see them, they look refreshed, they look revived, they look regenerated. That's the 3rd thing you benefit from effective and adequate prayer. We are now on number 4 of the benefits of effective and adequate prayer. And number 4 is that effective and adequate prayer helps you to have growth. Life is not about stagnation. Life is about development. It's about maturity. It's about growth. It's about progression. It's about expansion. So it is when you pray effectively and adequately that you begin to see growth in your life, both spiritually and physically. You are not meant to be on the same level of spirituality. If you're drinking milk today, you are expected to begin to eat solid food tomorrow. So if you are, if in the physical realm now, if you are not yet married, okay, and you desire to be married, you're expected to be married and then to have children. If you're living in one room, you're expected to grow, to progress to a bigger apartment. Okay, so that's how it is. You both grow spiritually and physically. So that's what effective and adequate prayer does for you. When you pray effectively and adequately, you see yourself growing, developing, maturing, okay, becoming better, bigger, and all of that. Okay, so that's why you must pray, because you need growth. You need growth. Don't be a stagnated Christian. Okay, you must be a Christian who God will use to show his glory to humankind. Therefore, your physical and spiritual growth depends on you, whether you are able to pray effectively and adequately. Now, let's look at the fifth and the last benefits of effective and adequate prayer. The fifth one. Effective and adequate prayer gives you victory. Yes, it gives you victory. When you pray effectively and adequately, you always win. You always win. Life is a battlefield. There's a battle going on everywhere, even in your own mind. Your spirit and your body are at loggerheads. They're fighting to win over your soul. So there are even physical battles. You are fighting over worldliness. You're fighting over sickness. You're fighting over the demons, principalities, and powers. You're fighting over darkness. There are even people who oppose you, who are plotting against you that you are not yet aware of. Okay? So, but it's only when you pray effectively and adequately that you always win. You always win. You always win. I haven't seen a man who prays effectively and adequately who loses a battle. I'll give an example. David. David didn't lose any battle. Abraham never lost. Check all through the Bible. They never lost. When Paul and Silas were in prison, the Bible recorded that they were praising God in prison. And what happened? They won. When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in the fiery furnace, the Bible recorded that they were singing and praising, and the fourth man in the fire was with them, and they won. It doesn't matter what you're going through. If you are not winning, check your prayer life. If you think you are not winning, check your prayer life. Sometimes victory does not come overnight. It's progressive, right? That is why you must continue to pray effectively and adequately until you gain your victory, until you gain your holistic victory. That holistic victory is the one you enjoy when you are already in the presence of God, when you are already spending your eternity with God, when Jesus has already told you, "Well done, you good and faithful servant." Because life is a battle. Whether major or minor, there will always be a battle for anyone to fight. Because life is a battlefield. Okay? So we keep fighting and keep winning and keep progressing until we eventually gain eternity with our Lord and Master Jesus Christ. But you can only win. You can only win your daily battles, your big and small battles, if you pray effectively and adequately. So with these 5 benefits of effective and adequate prayer, we have rounded off our prayer series, okay? And subsequently, we're looking at all the other principles, okay, and God's ordinances that will help us to enjoy our lives to the fullest here on earth and still make heaven at last, okay? So see you in the next video.